Hello, everyone. Good morning, or I guess it's almost afternoon. Wow, January 21st today. The month is almost over. Oh, yeah, 21st today. That's right. It's my anniversary today. Um, so I'm 3 years and 11 months today. Well, that's cool. I almost forgot. I didn't even mention it in my other readings. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Or if you're new, then I'm glad you found the channel. If you don't know me, my name's John Clayton. I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. Excuse me, and I've been clean and sober since February 21st, 2021. Death, dying, and living with grief. Addicts die. We talk about it in our literature. We remind ourselves at every meeting that the ends of our disease are jails, institutions, and death. But when one of us dies, we generally respond the way anyone else would, with shock, surprise, and anguish. When we lose a member to the disease, we may go back through the same reservations we experienced in early recovery. That the program doesn't really work. Many of us experience other reservations at this point as well. The feeling that it doesn't pay to care excuse me, so much about people. The sense that loving addicts only result in loss and hurt. For some of us, staying in the fellowship after a painful loss can be very difficult. It's not unusual to feel that others are grieving wrong, that people aren't responding appropriately. When we are hurt and angry, it is easy to lash out, harder to feel compassion and connection. But experience has taught us that these are the things that make it easier to get through the difficult times clean, even grief. Of course, losing addicts to the disease of addiction isn't the only way we experience death in recovery. Addicts die clean, too. We lose members of our family, we lose friends. Sometimes it seems like the more connected we are, the more opportunities there are to experience loss. And in a sense, it's true. We love more, we care more, we share more than we ever have, and perhaps more than people who are not members of a fellowship like ours. One of the rewards of recovery is that our lives are so rich and full of people we care about, but we do lose some of them, and it's hard. Sometimes what we feel is the guilt of having survived. We may never understand why some of us live long, full lives, and some of us are gone so early for many of us. The answers we find in the steps can carry, oh sorry, find us, find in the steps, carry us through the very real moments of doubt. But they are very particular and can be different for each of us. The grief process forces us to make peace with unanswered questions, and in that way, it is a gift. Some of us find that a death we experience in recovery triggers feelings left over from earlier losses that we never really had the chance to grieve. We have learned through working the steps that emotions we don't feel in the moment often wait and catch up with us later. The experience of walking through a loss in the present can bring back long forgotten losses from our past. We have been surprised by the force of our emotions at the loss of a friend or even a pet. We may have thought we would get through the feelings relatively early and find that we are floored by the experience. Others of us find that there is still some distance between ourselves and the world, or that our reactions are not so immediate. Sometimes our feelings aren't as deep as we think they should be. We think we are supposed to be having a particular experience and we are feeling something very different. Giving ourselves permission to have our feelings and not judge them in a powerful gift we can give ourselves. Whatever our response is ours, and we can own it without allowing it to swallow us or define us. We have the freedom to fully experience a range of emotions and to know at the same time that our emotions are not the limit of ourselves or of our world. Grief is its own experience. Allowing ourselves the time and space to move through it is a commitment to ourselves and to honesty beyond what many of us have experienced before. The feelings move to their own rhythm and on their own time, and it can be very difficult to imagine that we are not doing it wrong when we are surprised by a wave of emotion at an inconvenient moment. As with so much of what we experience in recovery, there is no one way and certainly no right way to go through it. We take comfort in the knowledge that all things must pass, but our feelings will certainly change and that others around us who have also grieved deeply and a way to survive their emotions and to thrive once more. We had we find in recovery that even the worst things we experience can be transformed into lessons we learn and then a tool we can use to help others. When we seek conscious contact with a power greater than ourselves, we find ways to be of service, inside or outside of NA. Being of service helps us find value in our lives when we can't see our value for ourselves. Giving generously of ourselves, especially when we are in pain, is a path through some of our sorrow and confusion. We often hear members share that every day I am in recovery is a bonus, that I have been given a reprieve. We have a deadly disease and are lucky to be alive, and even luckier to be glad we are alive. Many of us experience in addiction a kind of living death in which each day was a burden to be survived. Somehow, many of us have suicide attempts behind us, whether or not we actively tried to take our own lives. We certainly held them. We certainly held them cheap. It can surprise us then how shocked we are when we receive bad news from a doctor. Our perfectly human reactions can seem to us like we are ungrateful or unrealistic. Again, going again, giving ourselves permission to feel whatever we feel is is as important as it is difficult. Only by admitting our feelings can we begin to deal with them after all. Once we start talking about our feelings, their power over us is reduced. One member who had been through a series of medical crises said, "I don't know if I have a day or a decade left, but I would rather not spend it in fear." As we use the tools that are available to us, we find solace. The same tools that guide us to live lives can we can be happy with can help us to work the end of our journey with dignity and serenity. Of course, not all of us know it's coming when our lives end, and some of us have many false alarms or close calls. Sometimes these brushes with death can be a wake up call, allowing us to consider on a practical and spiritual level what it might mean to get our affairs in order. In moments of great pain, a deep stillness comes over us. In those moments, we can see the depths of the darkness within us, but also the enormity of the power to which we are connected. The terrible grief we feel can bring us a conscious contact that nothing else ever could. The impulse to withdraw, to pull away from noise and crowds, I'm sorry, the terrible grief we feel can bring us a conscious contact that nothing else ever could. The impulse to withdraw, to pull away from noise and crowds, and even from the people who support us the most, is often a form of self protection. We can be so afraid of shaking loose the feelings again that we barely want to move, but letting the people we trust come and support us reminds us that we are not alone, even if our coldest moments, and allowing people to help us can be a form of service to them as well when we let them when we let someone love us at vulnerable times, they and we are rewarded in the database. Sorry, and the caring and sharing we talk about in a two-way street, and those of us who are practiced at giving often have a hard time letting others love us back. It is a loving act to let others love us. When we find ourselves in a position of need, it can be too easy for us to experience it as humiliating or burdensome, but we are given the opportunity to let those who love us express that in very concrete ways. The vulnerability we experience allows us a different experience of love. It is an act of generosity to let people be close to us, and we try to understand that they too are giving, or that they are too going through feelings feelings about what's happening. Our training in letting go of self-obsession helps us now. As we help our loved ones through their fear and sadness, we may find the words we need to hear to get through our own grief and pain. Certainly, as we recognize that we are loved and cared for, we realize that our lives really are different from what they had been. The matter in the world, we have made a contribution to the people around us and to people we can't see. The love we've shared, the families we've been part of, the meetings we've started and served and shared in, all of these have been a form of amends, a way of making peace with ourselves and our world. We are grateful for what we have and what we have had, and we know better than most people that death is not the worst alternative. We have seen others suffer worse fates, and perhaps we have ourselves. For some of us, in the surrender that comes after very badly, very bad news, we find that we are finally able to let go and be present in the moment, letting go of the the future, defeat, or the fear. Sorry, letting go of the fear, the anger, and gradually the things that bind us into our lives. We are set free. Wow, that was a bit bigger of a reading, but it was a good one all the same. I mean, I kind of slipped up a little bit here and there and lost track a little bit, but did manage to get through it. Yay. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate every one of you, and if nobody's told you today that they love you, well, I love you, and we'll see you again real soon. Okay, bye for now.